At around AD 500, Rome lost control of its territories. Land and power was up for grabs. The Middle Ages were underway. The early years of the Middle Ages were a terrifying time for most people. Violence became commonplace as waves of invaders swept across Europe. From the east came the Germanic peoples. From North Africa to the south came Arab Muslims. And from the north came the most feared invaders, the Vikings of Scandinavia. People turned to local nobles such as princes, dukes, and counts for protection, and to Christian institutions for hope. During Europe's Middle Ages, most people were peasants who worked the land. But the land was not theirs. It belonged to the nobles, who often lived in nearby manor houses. The nobles kept a large share of the peasants' harvest. In return, they allowed the peasants to keep some of the food they grew, and offered protection from invaders and rival armies. The nobles built castles, enforced the laws, collected taxes, and defended the lands around them with hired soldiers. The most skilled of these soldiers were knights, who dedicated their lives to combat, a code of behavior called chivalry, and service to their lords. Over time, kings arose and began to build nation-states that they ruled with strong hands. Over time, the nobles recognized the authority of these kings. The other great authority in medieval Europe was the Roman Catholic Church. The popes exercised ultimate authority over the church, but the popes proclaimed that kings had a religious duty to obey them too. Sometimes the kings and the church clashed over issues of power. And often, rival kings battled each other. In 1095, Pope Urban II found a common enemy to unite Europe. Under the battle cry, "God wills it," Urban II declared a religious war against the Muslim Turks who occupied the Holy Land in the Middle East. This region was home to Jerusalem, a city sacred to Christians, Muslims, and Jews. With Urban's campaign, it became the center of religious war. The Crusades had begun. Between 1096 and 1291, several waves of Christian knights and soldiers from Europe launched military expeditions to take the Holy Land from the Muslims. Thousands of Christians, Muslims, and Jews died in the fighting. Innocent people, as well as soldiers, suffered horrible losses. Although they succeeded in capturing Jerusalem and other holy sites, the Crusaders could not hold on to them. In 1291, when the last Christian stronghold of Acre fell, the Crusades finally came to an end. Even though the fighting ended, the relationship between Europe and the Middle East continued. The Crusades had reopened trade between the Christian and Muslim worlds. Along with trade goods, Crusaders brought back new ideas, including advanced mathematics and astronomy, improved farming techniques, and new building methods. During the Crusades, life in Europe had slowly improved for many people. The population increased, trade improved, economies grew, and towns and cities revived. Grand cathedrals were built to express people's devotion to God, and Europe's first universities developed. But in the 1300s,